Like, you're the one that actually defy all odds, even when whatever the universe, opposing force, whatever, try to throw against your way, especially after losing your parents at a young age and trying to maneuver throughout this world, you still went ahead and persevered.
Yo, welcome back to another episode of Attractive Mindset Season 2. I'm telling you, we only have monsters this season, and trust me, you're going to want to tune into this episode. We got none other than Denzel Jayce Johnson. And this man, I want to tell you something real quick before I let him, get a chance to introduce himself. Every time I go on social media, only profits. Every time I go on there, only, motivation, only purpose. He's putting out there, he's got the good energy, young, intelligent black man. Trust me, he's got a lot of information to tell you, but today he's going to even break down a little bit more about himself so that you get to know the man behind the brand. Jace.
What's going on, Rick? I appreciate, being on the podcast, season 2. And yeah, my name is Denzel Jayce Johnson. Also call me Jayce Bankz. I'm a 27-year-old entrepreneur, predominantly inside trading and e-commerce, but now we're taking more into digital, getting into more of the new age of money.
Okay.
Digital and AI.
So when you say the new age of money, you know what? So you got old people like me, see what I'm saying? I look a little young, but I'm up there, we in the 30s club. But when y'all say new age of money, what does that really entail?
Nowadays, in today's society, it's much more easier to make money than ever. Whereas, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, working a 9 to 5, doing a lot of manual labor, that's what determined how much money you made. But now today, it's a matter of smart and technology has been rapidly, advancing, making everybody able to acquire funds. And one of the things is that one of my things that I advocate is, hey, have that new money, drive that, hey, money is always being made out here. You can make money in trading, e-com, you can make money using AI, you can make money by just doing sports betting. There's so many different ways to make money online now, but still have those old money principles, still have those understanding of, the value of dollars and actually how to build wealth. And that's something that I'm really, pushing out there and really trying to help people understand, because in America is a corporate place, it's a corporate world. And if you understand a corporation, well, hey, everything is supposed to be exploited. Everything is for $1. I'm not going to do this unless I'm being compensated in some form of value. But at the end of the day, if you don't know how to maintain that after you already receive it, you're going to be inside that vicious loop of trying to, get out of that cycle that you're in.
Got you. Okay. So with that being said, I want to take it back a little bit. Of course, I want to know how you got into that. But, first off, just who is Jace?
That's a very good question. So, I actually am a Bahamian native. So I was actually born inside Florida, inside Jackson Memorial Hospital. But my mom and my dad are Bahamian natives. So they moved back home when I was like around the age of 2. So I was always raised inside the Bahamas. So one of the lucky things that I actually had growing up was I grew up from a Caribbean household, grew up from, timbre switch, discipline, having fun, enjoying the finer things of life. But I always had that dream of, hey, coming to America, because if you are from the Caribbean and you was raised inside the Caribbean, everybody said that, hey, if you have a U.S. passport or you go into the U.S., you should be better off based on you being inside a third world country.
Facts.
But growing up, childhood-wise, it did went ahead and teach me a lot of things very early on. I was very mature from a young age due to circumstances that life brought, to me. And one of those things was my mom. My mom, she raised me inside a single household. I was her only child. I was spoiled to a certain extent, but when I turned the age of 8, my mom actually got sick with a very rare nerve disorder, and it actually deteriorated all the nerve endings inside her legs. So she had to really learn how to walk all over again. And that was like a pivotal moment for me in my life, because my, going outside, riding bikes, playing video games, doing all those things, that was not it for me anymore. It was like, hey, you gotta now learn how to cook, clean, take care of your mom. It's you and her, so you gotta now take back off of things, especially when the medical bills started to pile up and we didn't have much money anymore. So I saw two sides of the world very fast. One side where, hey, we were not really poverty, but we was like middle class, and then another side where it's like, okay, mom got a nice good bounce inside of life right now, so we go on a trips every weekend doing certain things. She buy me whatever I want, and then after that, after the sickness, we went down to poverty, where it's like, hey, lights turning off every month, we gotta now beg this person to keep this on, or beg that person to help us with this, or provide us with groceries and stuff like that. So I got to see everything in terms of those cycles.
So do you think that you growing up in the Bahamas raised you in that way to be able to handle that better than if you were to grow up over here in South Florida?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, absolutely. I tell people all the time, if my mom was absolutely well and I grew up over here, I would have probably been another statistic. Like, literally. And what I mean by that is, I could have been, well off or whatever and all that to a certain extent. But in terms of hardships and actually building myself and getting myself out of failures, that version of me, if life went down that path, if I was to accept failure, I wouldn't know how to handle it because of the lifestyle that I was gonna be having. Like, I would have probably been one of those spoiled ass kids that takes their family car, crashes it, and my mom was gonna be like, you know what, it's okay, we're gonna fix it. Like, if my mom was still that type of person.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So now the other part of that question would be, you growing up that way, do you feel like you kind of missed out on having fun activities? Because I know when you're forced to grow up early, that can kind of limit you from being around friends and being social.
Yeah. I mean, it did in a sense impact me a lot. I mean, I got bullied through school because of it. Even from that aspect, there were some good perks. Like, I was like probably one of the youngest inside the island driving a car. Like, I was driving a car from like 13 until I was like 16. I remember at one point in time, and like, honestly, I still end up, had spoiled tendencies. I remember one time that I actually stayed home from school the whole entire day, and I was very good at basketball, and I actually wanted to get a scholarship because I was like, hey, statistically, I'm being programmed. In being a young black kid growing up, all you see is rappers and ball players. And all you know right at this point in time is, hey, in order for you to make it out, for everybody to be straight, you need to be a rapper or a ball player. Facts. And I was trying to do two. I was trying to do both. So I was making music and I was also playing basketball, and I was succeeding in both of them. I was actually getting scholarship offers and everything like that. Music was actually getting played. I had music getting played in Holland, New Zealand, in the US.
You was rapping?
Yeah, I was rapping, bro. I was rapping.
What was your stage name?
Huh?
What was your stage name?
My stage name was actually Jace.
Okay.
Jace. But yeah, I was actually rapping. I remember one time when I actually was on Twitter and like I was, getting there, and I think it's Yellow from Pretty Ricky. He was actually asking me if I could come and host at his club, and I was only like 14.
Oh damn.
So I'm like, but I was in Bahamas. So I was like, bro, when I'm inside Miami, I'm gonna probably come and hit you up and let you know. But like, yeah, he was DMing me and everything. Like, yo, I want you to come host up my club and everything and all that. But yeah, like I said, like growing up, I still had my fair share of fun, but it was more of like, yo, I was pretty much an adult. Like I wasn't no kid at that point in time. I'm going to clubs, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm drinking alcohol. Like, I'm pretty much an adult. I pay the bills, I make money. That's how it was for me.
Got you. Okay. So at what point did you come back over here?
2 years ago. So everything that you actually seen that I actually have accomplished was 2 years, because I left from Bahamas with only a one-way ticket and $1,000.
Oh, damn.
That's all I had at that current point in time. So I had a rental property over there, and that rental property was yielding me about $1,250 a month. And what happened was COVID came around, And the internet is very powerful, bro. So like I literally was on Facebook and I was inside this Grand Condone 10X group. And it was a free group. All I did was I typed inside there, hey, who wants their website to be developed? And people was like hitting me up like, yo, I need a website done. I need this done. I need that done. Because I do web developing and programming. And I was self-taught by that. But like I found this one person who we conversed on a Zoom call and we talked about everything that I did and what all they have done and what all they need to get done. And they lived in Atlanta at that point in time. And they told me, hey, I want you to actually be my marketing director. Because I guess, finished up school and I had my bachelor's in marketing. And it was like, man, they made a joke about it. It was like, hey, I was like, hey, if you need me to do all this work, I might as well just come and move to Atlanta and work for you.
Facts.
And they was like, oh, well, hey, I have some properties here. So if you want to stay in a place, then, we could definitely go ahead and do that. I was like, don't play around because I'm going to come. And they was like, yeah, let's go. I'll buy you a ticket. And then I got my $1,250 for my rent. Spent like $250 to my grandma. $250 to my grandma, and then after that, I take that $1,000. I flew over, and then the first day I flew over, I actually spent the $600 and to buy a MacBook. So I was already down $400, and I haven't seen my first paycheck as yet. So I was just working.
Damn. So it started just like that.
I started yesterday that and I started grinding.
So that was in Atlanta.
Yeah, that was in Atlanta when I started the full journey. In Atlanta. So I was only in Atlanta for a year. Then I moved to Florida after that.
Okay, so that's good because I haven't, I've been to Atlanta a couple times and they call Atlanta like the Black Mecca right now. And so you being over there for about a year, when you come to Florida, back to Florida?
I came back to Florida like around December, not last year December, the year before December.
Okay, so you being in Atlanta for about a year, what was life like being around more Black people than not?
Honestly, I had to get used to the 4 seasons, bro. Being inside the Bahamas where it's always fucking hot. I came over here, bro. It was cold. It's cold as shit. So I had to go ahead and get used to the cold. Then Atlanta was a little bit too far. Everywhere was far, bro.
Oh, damn.
Everywhere was far. So let's just say, for instance, where I was staying in Union City. For me to go to the club with an Uber, that's already $50.
Damn.
So by the time I went to the club and came back, that's already $100.
Facts.
And then by the time you get inside the club and you want to buy drinks or you want to buy a bottle, that's already another $250. So it was like, and I didn't have a car at the time. Like I didn't get my car until like probably the 5th or 6th month of me being inside Atlanta.
Damn.
So like everywhere that I actually could have went, I went either by Uber, either by getting a ride, or I guess stayed home. And most of the times I'm introverted, so like I was pretty much staying home every weekend. Staying home, focusing on my craft, working on my trading. I still had my e-learning platform at that point in time, and I still was like taking on new students and new mentees to actually teach them how to trade also. So like it was keeping me as afloat, but I literally was taking my weekend, just in, because it's nowhere else for me to really go at that point in time.
Got you. So with the web developing and how'd you really start segueing into the trading?
So I segued into trading like about 4 years ago. At that point in time, IM Academy actually infiltrated the Bahamas. Like everybody was talking about trading at that point in time. Hey, you want to learn how to trade? You want to learn this? You want to learn that? You want to do this? You want to do that? And I had a few people who was asking me to, trade, or asking me, hey, do you want to learn this? Do you want to learn that? I already understood about stocks because when I was actually living with my grandparents after my mom passed, I was living with my grandparents. I was on my computer looking at stock trading, like how to get into stocks, how to make this money, whatever like that. Like every single version of how to make money, I was pretty much studying and learning about. So when someone came to me about trading, I was like, yeah, I'll think about it. But everybody was like, oh, you have to go ahead and find other people because IM Academy is an MLM. So it's like level up also by recruiting people in. And I met somebody by the name of Ashling Cambridge, and he, told me, hey, bro, you don't have to recruit nobody, bro. Like you can just go ahead and learn. So the CM rental property money that I was making, I was taking money out of that every month and just spending that diligently on the education of IM Academy, and then also funding my account with like $200, $300, and then making these good flips. Then I started making some insane flips, like $100 to $1,000 in over the weekend. And I started like, living. I started to get a little bit better taste of what life was more like.
So before we even get advanced with it, because somebody like me, again, dinosaur.
Yeah.
How do you flip stuff? Explain the process of trading and how money is really made.
That's a very good question. So at the end of the day, it's always a winner and a loser. It's like sports betting, bro. Somebody's gonna win and take the money at the end of the day. So let's just say, for instance, just to keep it simple, I bet $10 that this particular pair or this particular market is gonna go up.
Yeah.
And it does go up to a certain price point, then let's just say at that certain price point, I would have received $20.
Okay.
Then I got $20 back from that 10 that I, bet.
So that's 20 on top of the 10.
20 on top of the 10.
Got you.
Right. But let's just say, for instance, now that I bet the exact same $10, and I would say, hey, the market is going to go up to a certain price point, but it goes down. Let's just say if I didn't have a stop loss there, I would have lost more than $10. But if my risk management is only for me to lose $10 and it hits the stop loss to a certain price point, like saying, hey, if price hit this certain point here, take me up my trade,
gotcha,
then it would have been $10 that I only lose.
Gotcha.
So what I mean by, making these flips, well, I was trading Bitcoin at that time when I used to be making those flips, because Bitcoin allows you to trade over the weekend. So I would do like, maybe I was using Hugo's Way, doing like the lowest lot size. But by the time it moves up at least 100 to 200, pips, or 200 pips, like let's say Bitcoin,
you just said like 4 words that I don't even know if it's English. Hugo's Way, lot size.
Okay, so Hugo's Way is actually a broker.
Okay.
Third-party broker that I use to actually execute my trades on. Lot size is actually how much I would like to risk, or how much am I leveraging on the lot size. Pips is percentage in points, meaning that that's how they measure the numbers. Okay. So let's just say, for instance, I wanted to, on a Hugo's Way, me doing a 0.01, I enter and I say, hey, I'm buying Bitcoin at 32,500. And let's just say now Bitcoin went to 32,800. If Bitcoin went to 32,800 for 32,500, that's 300 points. On my Hugo's Way, I would have already made $300. So that's how I was actually making those crazy flips like that, because it was some brokers, they operate a little bit different in terms of the contract size. So like a lot size may not equate to the same exact lot size on another brokerage, but on Hugo's Way for Bitcoin, I was hitting it because like, yo, a 0.01, it go up like 50 points, I'm already up $50.
Yeah.
Like I was like, so like for instance, we have something called a spread, whereas like the difference between the buying price and the asking price. So automatically, if you was to ever buy or sell on any pair, you may be inside some form of drawdown, like some form of negative. So for me, when I actually traded Bitcoin, even with $100, I was already negative like $13 to $14 starting off.
Oh, damn.
So it's like, shit, you're already losing almost $20 if it don't even go your way, because you're already in that drawdown.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, cool. Now let's start heading to the upside.
So how far down can you go in a drawdown?
Until you margin call, or unless you have a stop loss. So the broker is going to protect itself from, you trading. So if you are at a certain point where you don't have enough leverage or enough free margin inside for to hold the trade, it's going to then close out the trade for you. Because it's going to be like, hey, you don't have no more money, and we can't allow you to hold this position if you don't have no more money. So we just going to take your money that you have right here.
So, okay. So at what point does it get like, because it seems simple enough. I know it's not, but because it seems simple enough, at what point do people get to the point where, when they said like a stock market crash or something, and people were ready to jump off buildings or whatnot, what would have to happen in that case that somebody's ready to take it to an extreme?
it all depends on different type of factors.
Mm.
And one of the things that I actually looked at was the personal development of a person who is a trader. That's what I studied. That's what I have, like, a few of my psychiatrists that's a part of my team. We studied a thesis on people personal development as a trader, because everybody want to come into this trading space, but they don't work on their personality. They don't work on the things. They just think that, hey, you tell me do A, B, C, D, I should get E, D, G, and F. Like, no. Sometimes your personality may deteriorate what you want from the market. So, for instance, you say, at what point can somebody go ahead and actually get to that extreme? It all depends on what they went ahead and did. Let's just say, for instance, someone went ahead and they say, you know what, I'm putting my entire life savings on this trade. There's no way that this trade cannot go wrong. Everything is lining up correct. My entire life savings, boom. Something freak happened inside the market and it actually takes, and you were buying. What do you think that person is going to go ahead and do?
Yeah.
You stack yourself against that. Why did you? Well, if I wanted to make a lot of money, well, your greed cost your downfall. Why would you put your whole entire life savings aside something that's not 100% guaranteed? I don't care how good it looks. Why would you do that?
So what are some things that can cause the crash?
In terms of the market?
Yeah. So like what are some things that can cause the market to go against you? Like, I'm sure you start gathering, a consensus of, hey, this is gonna go up, this is gonna go down. Like, what happens if
it's
all
so
goes
many
down?
different factors on what can make a market crash for any particular type of pair. It could be institutional, it could be fundamental, it could be even down to geopolitical that causes the market to go ahead and fluctuate. One of the things that a lot of people as retail traders, they're mostly on a technical analysis standpoint, where they will try to determine by just using certain tools when the market is going to buy and sell. You also have to factor in the fundamental part of it. You also have to factor in where is the money moving and why is the money moving there. Also have to factor in, okay, election time is coming. Why is so many things happening? Think about it. A prime example. The Dow Jones, for instance, the highest that it's ever been right now. Why do you think that's happening? When just last year we were talking about recession scares, or a year before that, recession scares. Why do you think the Dow Jones is actually moving up when everything is saying that, hey, we need to actually increase interest rates, we need to actually pay off our debt, we need to actually go ahead and make more money for the country? Election. It's election year. Who do you think, what do you think is actually currently happening at this point in time? If the economy is a shit show, do you think the president of the United States is going to get reelected? What do you think he's going to go ahead and pitch? Oh, well, hey, we beat the recession. The Dow Jones is stronger than it's ever been. The stock market is right. This is happening. That is happening. I helped us after COVID. Okay, cool. Now, let's just say he does get elected again. What do you think is going to happen? The entire market is going to crash. Why? Right. Because it needs to go ahead and reset itself and actually get everything done. All we've been doing is just putting a Band-Aid on something that we already know is supposed to happen. So this is why, like, you have to also look at all these different type of events, different type of factors. A market could crash tomorrow. Like, for me, I'm actually currently inside some positions now for the Dow Jones to sell off. And the main reason why is because in terms of the overall structure of the Dow Jones for the last couple of weeks, and also months, it's just been pumping and pumping and pumping and pumping and pumping. And it's almost like right now the Dow Jones is looking like a cryptocurrency where you have pump and dumps, where something just fly all the way up, and then eventually it just dumps and crash.
So when that happens, that you have to, pull all your funds out, how do you prep that to still keep making money for you?
That's the thing. In terms of Forex trading, and for me, I'm a Forex trader. I'm not a stock trader.
Got you.
I trade on the up and going down. So I make profit either way. I can make profit if the market is going up. I can make profit if the market is going down. Right now, I'm betting that the market is about to go ahead and crash. So I have my positions there for the crash of the market. That was the
Gotcha.
same way how I actually turned $1,000 into 102,000. Um, mm, last year February, when they talked about recession scares, when it's like, oh yeah, we got to increase interest rates, we got to increase this, we have to increase that. It caused the market went from 35,000 or 36,000 around there all the way down to about 24, 23,000, and then it
Damn.
went ahead and started to recover. But now, based off of that move, the market went ahead and pushed all the way up, and it's currently like running and running and running, but it's not retesting those barriers that is broken.
Mm.
So it's like, in a sense, I know that you may not know anything about trading, but to those who are going to be listening, everything that goes up inside the market needs to have a break and retest. It's one of the reasons why Bitcoin went all the way down to about almost 13, 14, $15,000.
Mm.
Like, went from 60 down to 15. How? Well, when Bitcoin broke between the 12,000 to 15,000 area, it never retested that area to actually see if there's true support there. If there's true like buyers there, it just went ahead and keep on pumping and pumping and pumping.
Mm.
And then it just started making all of these different, like, structures out of thin air. And that's why, in a sense, everything crashed so that institutions can get in, so that more countries can get in. But now it's becoming, you will see like a better flow structure for that to get to the 100,000. It's not going to just shoot up like how it did these last couple of years. You're going to see it now fluctuating, going down, then back up, down, then back up, down, then back up. And then eventually it's going to get to the 100,000 mark that people are asking for.
Got it. Okay. So how steep do you think the learning curve is to like learn the market?
It's not steep at all. I feel as if understanding the basic fundamentals, you could do that in like 5 days if you're literally sitting down and paying attention.
And so how soon can somebody go profitable?
That's a good question. And in regards to that, it depends on the person. Because like, honestly, right now, I could tell you to do something and you make profit and you do it, right? Now, are you able to keep it? Are you able to now stay disciplined? Are you able to now learn when to exit out of a trade? Because like right now, I could tell you to go ahead and be like, bro, sell right now. You sell next 2-3 days, you up a couple bands. Now you're like, maybe I could get an extra $500 out of this, or maybe I could get an extra $600 out of this, or maybe this can go down another two bands. So it's like, yeah, you were in profit, but now you're like, maybe I'll hold out, or maybe I should do this, or so it's like more of the time we make things overcomplicated, because that's what humans do. Humans, we're designed to overthink. We're designed not to just take things as simple. If you really look at most successful entrepreneurs inside the world today, you'll see that they have one common characteristic. They keep it simple and direct.
Facts.
They don't try to overthink it. They don't try to do this. They don't try to do that. They'll be like, okay, hey, you say that we need to be here at this time, do this and do that and do this. Okay, cool, we're gonna get that done. It's not, oh, when we reach here, oh yeah, man, I don't know. Outside don't look really okay. What's happening here? Like, no, I came here to sit down and do a podcast. I'm gonna get the podcast done. After that, I'm gonna go to dinner, talk to my boy. Then after that, I go home and I go and sleep. So as humans, if you're able to now take off that overthinking element and just look at what's happening, that's what's happening around you, and just keep it as, hey, I see what's happening, I need to react based off of this, it'll be easier for you.
Okay. Definitely got some wisdom in there. So at what point did you feel, or did you understand that, hey, I'm ready to teach people on like a big scale, I'm ready to bring on students?
I think within my first 6 months, I wanted to start teaching people, because people were actually reaching out to me, and I always love to help people learn or help people get to the next step. Like, that's just the type of person that I am personally. Like, with me, doing my e-learning platform and teaching people, that's not like, oh, I'm doing it for money. It's actually more of a passion thing, because I can make money without doing no courses or anything, like without doing no mentorship. Like, I'm good regardless. But the thing is that I would like to now provide that information, especially to people back at home in the Bahamas, to have like, hey, you live in a third world country where the cost of living is higher than anything at this current point in time. Let me show you how to make some extra dollars. Let me put some extra dollars in your pocket to help make your life easier, or experiencing life easier. So I remember when I had people who were interested in learning how to create while I was in IM. One of the main things I used to do was I used to buy a bottle of Bel Air, like for any person I wanted to learn. And I was like, yo, I got this bottle of Bel Air for you. I'll go there with them. Yeah, I was doing a video for marketing purposes, but I would go there and provide them a bottle of Bel Air, because I'm like, yo, when you make your first set of profit from learning this, I want you to now, like, open up this Bel Air bottle, take a sip. It's a toast to yourself. You just went ahead and you cracked the code on how to make money online and in terms of trading. And I wasn't getting paid for that. I was taking the money on my own bread. So, like, imagine now, I think IM Academy was, so I'm explaining you their structure at that point in time. If you brought in 2 people, you didn't have to pay for your monthly. But if you brought in 3 people, you become a P150 and you get paid $150. However, you still got to pay IM Academy $175. So even if I was to get paid at $150, I still got to get that $150 back to IM Academy because I have to pay the $25 difference. If you get to a P250, you get $250, but you still got to pay your $175. So at the same point, I'm still not profiting much because it's like, yo, how you guys say you're helping me, but I'm still got to pay you guys per month in order for me to stay inside your system. So regardless of that, if I'm only making like $25 or $75, the highest I ever got was like a P250 or 200 or something like that around there. Never got any higher than that. But like, I'm only netting maybe $75 from IM Academy, but I'm buying each person a Bel Air bottle that costs $60 in Bahamas every time. I'm there like every weekend, like, yo, need a bottle of Bel Air, bro. I need 2 bottles of Bel Air. I need 3 bottles of Bel Air. Spending it, giving it to them because I actually want to make people feel that they have the power to now change their circumstances. They have the power to now change the way that they actually, live. And that's like, one of the things that even gravitate me towards, my latest mentor, Q, where, we were able to change our circumstances by not only believing in ourselves, but actually making those things visible and showing people that it can actually happen.
Nah, facts. And so for the people that used to be a part of your life when you weren't the version of you that you are now, how do they treat you or how do they interact with you now?
They interact with me normal. I mean, like, it ain't like no, like, I would say special privileges or anything like that. Like, oh, for me, like, I'm more busier than anything. I literally was like talking to myself and talking to some of my close friends, and it's like, hey, I really would like to now start doing some more things for my family because I've been so caught up with just trying to build and build and build. But like, in terms of like how they treat me now, it's normal. My close friends know exactly what I'm doing, where I'm going for. My family members, and we just continue to go for that vision.
And how do you pause, for just mental breaks, because being the head of a company, doing super successful, having students can definitely all pile up, and it never feels like a finish line ever is right there.
That's a very good question, bro. And that's, a lot of people don't really understand that as much, because like, when you're taking on mentees or you're doing so many things, or like, my boys say outing fires and stuff like that, people don't really consider what you're actually going through. They want to know like what you could go ahead and do for them or how you're going to fix their problem, because you're their problem solver in a sense. So like, when it comes to like taking those pauses and those breaks, honestly, I work myself to a point where it's like, I think I just need to go ahead and take a month or 2 off, or just reset or recharge. I don't try to do too much in regards to taking too many times off, but it's time for a reset. I put time for a reset. But one thing that I've now been experiencing, or the roadblock that I'm now fixing, is what happens if I'm now not able to, in terms of, what if I die tomorrow? What if something happens now? Like, what then goes along with my business or my dream? Yeah. And that's something that I've really been taking heavy into consideration, it's not only like, just leaving a legacy, because regardless of where I go or what happens to me, or even if I die, I know I'm gonna leave a good impact on this world. But it's like the things that I've created, I don't want it to just end with me.
Facts.
And that's what I've been currently working on, making sure that that stays alive.
Copy. So, since you mentioned that, what would be a definitive ending point for you? Like, what kind of goal do you see in the foreseeable future, far future, where you're like, I'm good. I've done this, and now you either want to pivot somewhere else or you want to do something else.
So foreseeable future, man, I honestly want to actually give back to my country, give back to Bahamas. I actually would like to be one of the pillars in terms of education reform, showing young kids and also people growing up in this world that, hey, you don't have to be a doctor or a lawyer to be successful. You don't have to actually go ahead and complete college and all those type of stuff. Not saying that it's not important, but I'm just want to like show people that, hey, there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way to actually go out there and get success for your own self and actually define your own success. I also want to go ahead and open up my foundations for my parents. Both of my parents has died, so I want to make sure that I have foundations that go with their wishes, go with their blessings. But in terms of what is the end point for me, I think the end point for me, in all honesty, is to just make sure that I can embrace positivity and happiness to everybody around me. Like, I want to be in a position where it's like, yo, don't worry about it. I don't even care if it's a favor. Don't worry about it. Like, get back to me whenever, or don't get back to me. Doesn't matter. Like, just go ahead and live the life that you want and continue to push yourself to where you need to be. I don't want anybody around me to actually feel as if they're not able to do anything that they want. Growing up, I had that type of environment around me where I talked about my dreams and what I want to go ahead and do. And because of that environment, people did not see the vision, so they knocked it down. It made me decide to change so many different things about myself because of their opinion of me. And I feel as if inside this world today, you can embrace people ideas. You can embrace people visions, because visions came from God. It's not for you to see. It was placed inside that person. So one thing that I really love was one of my uncles. Anytime I talked to him about a vision, he never told me that it's a bad idea. Like, yeah, I think it's a solid idea. You guys got to go ahead and do some more research about it. Go ahead and get it done. And I always then went ahead and look at those visions and ideas that I've had and be like, hey, you know what? I don't think any bad idea is a bad idea. Like, I don't think any idea or vision or someone present to me is wrong. Like, no. Go ahead, see what it looks like. What does that mean? And have fun with it. And enjoy the journey. A lot of people inside today society, they want to get to the end goal or they want to be successful, but they don't want to enjoy the journey, man. And the journey is where the fun is at. The journey is where the bliss is at. Like, you want to go to A to Z, but you're forgetting all the letters in between, and you're not going to appreciate Z if you don't embrace the letters in between. You're not going to appreciate what you get if you don't embrace that hardship or even the good times, the bad times of getting to where you want to go.
So, in you embracing these hardships, or if you ever have a setback or you face some adversity, first, what goes through your mind at that moment? And then second, how do you recover from it?
What goes through my mind is my parents, bro. I literally went through multiple hardships. One of the hardships that, some people inside of Bahamas know, but not much people know about my story. 16, I actually experienced my mother dying, but it was very weird. My mom actually had some form of diabetic stroke or so, but I actually watched my mom took her last breath and I had to do CPR on her, and it wasn't successful. That was at 16. That in itself would have, made any human go to another, atmosphere. I bounced back from that. I went ahead and I got a scholarship from school. Me and my dad got very close after my mom died. And then before I left to go to America, 22, at 22, 23, my dad died and he had a stroke. And he actually was sitting inside his chair for like 2 days after he suffered a stroke. And the only way that we actually know that he had a stroke or something was wrong with him is because me and my sister were supposed to go to a family dinner with me, him, and my dad, her, and my dad. And he didn't call us. And he always calls us at least an hour or two to make sure that we are on time because my dad was a military guy. So when my sister told me that, oh, he didn't call us, I told her, okay, I'm going to head down there to go see what's going on. And I had to break into his house. And by the time I break into his house and I, dealt with him and everything, by the time we got him to the hospital, he succumbed to his injuries. So like anytime that I go down a bad path or I'm facing some form of adversary, I always remind myself that, you're the son of Leroy and Bridget. Like, you're the one that actually defy all odds. Even when whatever the universe, opposing force, whatever, try to throw against your way, especially after losing your parents at a young age and trying to maneuver throughout this world, you still went ahead and persevered. So whatever you're going through right now, remember the hard shit that you went through back then that you thought was hard, you went past it. So understand that you're going to get past this one too. And that's how it is. So basically how I look at it is that the hard stuff is always temporary. Everything is temporary. So you shouldn't really focus too much on what you're going through as of this moment because it's just like a storm. Eventually it's gonna subside. Eventually you're gonna have a good way for you to get through. And that's all you have to go ahead and look at it at the point.
Powerful. And what would you say is something, or if you had to put in one word, your mentality after dealing with a lot of these hardships?
Persistence, bro. I have a hard time taking no for an answer. I don't know if that's just me, my personality, but everything I want inside this world, I get. It's just a matter of when. I don't care if it's tomorrow. I don't care if it's next week. I don't care if it's 10 years from now. If I'm wanting, I'm going to get it. All I'm going to do is just keep on tackling at it, and eventually I'll get it. A lot of people, they quit so easily, especially when they fail. I want to fail. I want to lose money. I want to burn through this. I want to burn through that because now it allows me to appreciate what I need to do differently when I go back at it again. So I don't look at losses as some form of, hey, I need to probably stop doing this, stop doing that. Like, no, I look at losses as, hey, what do we need to go ahead and do better next time? Because opportunities are always going to come. Like, they're always going to come. Let's just say, for instance, right, you yourself, you guys made $30,000 and you was not wise for your $30,000. Like, you just blew through that shit. We all done it. We all went there before. But like, understand this aspect. At the point when you're done with it, and bills piling up, and you're like, damn, I just had this money and I just went. Okay, cool, yeah. But guess what? Somewhere in your life, you're gonna make more than $30,000 again in one full scoop, and you now it's now your duty from that moment that you blew through that $30,000 to figure out how not to do it again because it's gonna come back.
Facts.
And that's just how you have to look at life. Multiple people who are, who want to be whatever dream you want to be, and you got canceled, or you like, hey, you didn't get this opportunity, you got, hey, you got denied the opportunity. Our next opportunity is gonna come. It's just a matter of how you're gonna handle that opportunity, how you're gonna actually deal with it when it comes your way.
Got you. So what I want to ask then, and I want to frame this towards third world country individuals.
Absolutely.
For somebody that is, or wants to get into business, whether they do it over there or come over here and get into business, what would be 3 key pieces of advice that you would give them?
For third world countries, man, number 1, to travel. Take that money, take that time out of your bread. If you could do it, even sacrifice it. It's gonna come back to you, but travel. And the main reason why I say travel is because you need to understand what else the world is actually doing and what else the world is actually going on to provide. Third world countries, if you really notice it, and I'm gonna give the other two advice, but I'm just gonna speak on this one a little bit more intense. If you really notice, most of the first world countries and first world companies like Amazon, all these different companies now that's making billions of dollars, where do you think they're currently targeting right now? The third world countries.
Yep.
Why do you think they're targeting the third world countries? Because now, economically now, in terms of time frame, the third world countries are now building up enough capital and money to where America was about 10 years ago or 15 years ago. So now those companies are now trying to get into those countries to what? Capture all that money that the third world countries are finally catching up to now what? Make more money, because they know it's more easier to infiltrate, and you're providing more of a better luxury service than it is for you inside America. In America, you have a lot of competition. In third world countries, yes, you may have local competition, but local economies or the people there, they always prefer international than local. So who do you think they're gonna start buying from now? They're gonna start buying more from the international companies than the local companies.
Yep.
So what do you think you need to go ahead and do? Well, you travel because you need to now see what the world is what they're doing, being able to network with people around the world, understand what product you would like to provide. The second piece of advice now is, how can you set a proper foundation inside that country? How can you actually make a mark? Whether if it's small or not, what problem are you providing a solution for? Or what solution are you providing in general? And when you provide that solution and you make that staple product there, by the time you're already done and the other company already reached, like the international company already reached, you've already made thousands and thousands or millions amount of dollars. Now what you can do, go ahead and move on to another product or another business, because every business have a cycle. Amazon, you may not believe it or not, Amazon has a cycle.
Yep.
How does Amazon have a cycle? Well, hey, shit. They first start off with books. Then after they done already saw that, hey, books is just a part of it, let's go ahead and change this cycle from books and let's go into other products. From there, they say, you know what, okay, cool. Let's go from here. Let's go into what? Logistics. And then from there, they say, you know what, hey, let's go ahead and go into what? Software. So it's like so many different cycles that you could do inside a business. You can't hold on to one product and think that one product is going to last for a lifetime, because it's not. And that's where you have to now understand the economics, understand the people that you're dealing with, and then also understand the shelf life your business has. And once you understand that, then you're good. And then the third thing, honestly, is if you want to open up a business inside a third world country or so, understand marketing and brand exposure. Marketing is not a difficult thing. A lot of people think that it is. It's not. Brand is a difficult thing. A brand is your name. You're making something household. You're building something that's going to be lasting for a lifetime. Because I could have a brand. My brand Rest since '96. My brand BFX Society. Even the brokerage brand that my good buddy over here owns, Prosper. That's the brand. You build that whole entire brand out, and when you're marketing now, okay, yeah, I want to give away $500. So hey, let's go ahead and put our logo on a concert. Let's put our logo on a billboard. You could go ahead and do all of that, but you have to actually know what makes a very good brand and follow your brand vision in order for you to have that solid footing that you need to have inside those third world countries.
Wow. Yo, Jace, you dropped a lot of gems on this. You shared a lot about yourself, and this is why we like to have the Attractive Mindset podcast, because oftentimes the stories that we get into are authentic. I don't like to make questions and then ask you questions that I already pre-made, because that stops me from getting to actually know you. Absolutely. And you want everybody else to get a chance to know you as well, because these probably aren't conversations that you would just regularly have if you had a choice. So the amount of vulnerability that you have, how hard was it for you to really build this mental aspect of your business? Because you have the financial aspect, you have the physical aspect of it, you put in the work, that's the easier part, but what work do you do to work on your mental health?
So a lot of people don't talk about it, but I do receive therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that, oh, well, hey, I'm crazy or whatever like that. Like, no, sometimes I need to process what I'm experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
And along with that, I do have my mentors that I talk to go over certain ideas or certain things. But in terms of also understanding my mental health, I took the time out to actually study me. Did a lot of meditation. Still, I'm doing meditation now. I literally just had like, a conversation with my significant other like literally 2 days ago, and it was like crazy. And one of the main things I had to tell her, be honest, is that hey, right now, at this current point in time, I need to learn how to be committed to myself.
Mm.
I need to learn how to actually understand myself a little bit more. And I do want to make you happy and do everything that I want to do to provide a fruitful relationship. But until I understand myself and learn how to stay committed to myself, where I have family, business, me, and then whatever else come along the way, I possibly cannot provide you what you're currently seeking.
Mm.
And that's something whereas I think even as business or even as humans, we do a lot of things. But one thing that we always do, and we're not actually even keeping ourselves in check, we lie to ourselves a lot. We don't like to be truthful to ourselves. Like, yeah, we could go ahead and lie to others and tell everybody else this and tell them the sky is red, blue, whatever, and all that. But we don't actually sit down and actually say, yo, you're a bullshitter. You're lazy. You're doing fuck shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like for instance, someone like, let's just say for instance, that's inside the dating world. You don't have to go so deep in it. Like, a female might come to you and be like, yo, Rick, you was a fuck boy, right? Yeah, he's a fuck boy. You be like, I ain't no fuck boy. We can talk about this or that, whatever. But if you was to really sit down and like, let's say for instance, now you're talking like 7, 8 girls, you tell all 8 of the girls, oh, you're the only one I want to be with.
Facts.
I want this, I want that.
Some fuck boy
Dude,
activity.
you gotta sit down and be like, man, I may be a fuck boy for real, bro. But then at the same time, you have to now either accept it or change it.
Mm.
Because how else are you going to become better? How else are you going to work on your mental health? Especially with social media being such an integral part of our lives now. Social media is more influential now than it was 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Most people will go on social media to validate something first than to even just sit down. Oh, how much followers you got? Oh, you got a blue tick. Oh, you got this, you got that. So you cannot be warped up by what social media is saying, because if you just go on based off of social media, then you've already lost the game, because it's like, yo, if you go on by social media standards, well, damn.
Yep. Literally, that work right there that's like my I wouldn't even say pet peeve at this point, but that's like my biggest, what's the word I want to see? It's like my biggest deciding factor in dealing with people, because they go on my page and they're like, oh, you only got 1,600 followers, this and that. Yeah. And I didn't pay the $16 a month for a blue check that I don't give a shit. I'm verified in real life, Yeah. But, you have these people that go on there and they watch my page and they account me to what they see on social media. And I'm like, somebody made me just make a brand, right? Like, I don't care about social media, or I didn't.
The crazy part about it is like, bro, the real money makers, the real money movers, they don't care about no damn social media
at all.
They don't care about no social media. Like, for instance, a prime example, right? We can't put the camera on. We're like, this dude right here. This dude do not be on social media. All right, this dude do not be on social media. Honestly, he doesn't be on social media, but trust me when I tell you, the deals that he's closing, the things that he's actually doing, is unheard of. And he's like, what, 23 now, right? 25 now.
Mm.
Like, literally unheard of. But it's like, yo, if I was to just go based off of social media, he only got 1,500 followers with a screen profile. This dude ain't doing nothing. He ain't pushing no current. He ain't doing anything. Like, no. So, like, literally, and that's why you see, like, so many people at the age of under 25, most of them suicidal, most of them depressed, because they always see this 21-year-old millionaire on social media, or this 21 this, or this 21 that, or this 25-year-old bought 5 cars or whatever. You don't know what social media could be faked. You don't know what the fuck they did.
Facts.
You don't know if they rented a car. You don't know if they just know a realtor and they just looking at a mansion and pretend like it's their mansion. Like, you don't know what they did. So you shouldn't really hold that to a very high regard. And unless you know the person personally, like, don't measure your success next to what that person is actually doing. And that's something that I actually conquered about 1.5 years ago. I used to actually see what other traders or other entrepreneurs were doing. It's like, yo, I got to step it up. I got to do this. I got to do that. And it's like, why would I want to go ahead and actually deter myself or even put myself in more of a financial constraint trying to prove something to somebody who probably is not even paying attention to me? Doesn't make any sense.
Smart intellect. Jace, you dropped some gems on here. You got vulnerable, you got personal, you did shout outs to your boy, you know what I'm saying? You left it all on the table. So you can tell that you definitely take time to just observe you, and you kept it real. You told your significant other, hey, I need to figure out me even more. And so that just shows you as not only a person, but as a, CEO, as a professional mentor to somebody, as a teacher, as a friend. And, if people wanted to tap in with you, man, if people wanted to follow you, join your academy, anything, where could they do that at?
So, you can tap in with me on social media is Jayce Bankz. That's JayceBankz. In terms of my academy, I am having a wait list right now. Like, I'm not one of those guys like, hey, let's open up the wait list to get people to buy. Like, nah, when the academy is fully ready and I think that it can provide the best experience for everybody, then it's gonna be opened up. But right now, like, if you want to join the wait list, it's bfxsociety.com. It's actually a decentralized community for entrepreneurs and traders. So I really designed something pretty much amazing. From programming and web development, I designed pretty much a Facebook for traders and entrepreneurs where we teach them how to trade in the market, but we also teach them how to have financial stability after they already start making it. And everything is actually measured on your results, on real-time results. So the only way that you can level up inside the society, which is, you're going to be a level 1 member, in order for you to get to the level 4 membership, you have to actually show us your results. And it cannot be fake. No demos. Like, no, you're going to have you sign NDAs. You got to show us the bank statements. You got to show us withdrawals. You got to show us what you're doing. And it's outside your 9 to 5. So, like, it's something that I really wanted to, really take pride on. I want to actually have a community of multiple millionaires. And I don't want to have like just, oh, I'm saying that. No, I can prove that. We have the whole track record. We have all of the stats. We have everything. Because at the end of the day now, think about it this way. Let's just say, for instance, we don't have multiple millionaires, but we have 1,000 people that actually is making maybe $5,000 a month. We all could pull up together and go buy some crazy shit and bake some more businesses. But I can't do that unless I know what you're actually doing. So that's just, how the society works. But there's nothing, fugazi about what I like to do inside my e-learning platform. Nothing fugazi what I even do personally in my life. If I don't have something, I don't have something. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to go get it. That's just how it works.
Amazing. Good growth mindset. We love that. Hey, man, y'all heard it here first. We got Jayce Bankz in the building. This is the exclusive Attractive Mindset interview, season 2. Trust me, only monsters like this coming on this season. Last season was our first season. Yeah, we did 6 figures as a podcast, and we cranked out a lot of episodes. We did 70-something episodes. We only released like 60-something because fuck some people. But hey, listen, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, it's always about a growth mindset. It's always about getting to the next level, and don't leave the people that you started with. Understand that there's going to be people that's there for the ride. There's going to be people that aren't there for the ride, but just stay consistent with you. Stay consistent with what you value. Stay consistent with your time. And, as we always say, man, we look good. We live good. Life is good. Talk to us. We talk back, and we out of here.